Hello, hi, and welcome again to the Terminal Podcast, where in the end, it's all about the numbers. Tonight, we continue this highwayman's return to the castle on the hill with another THS alum to answer a few questions. So please share your name and where you're calling from.
Well, this is Dan Filowitz. I am calling from Fair Lawn, New Jersey, as it turns out.
All right. You're here tonight to answer the William E. Brown Memorial Questionnaire as a build-up for the THS class of 1995 30-year reunion on October 18th. This event includes a 10:30 a.m. tour of our old stomping ground by a student ambassador. There'll be some coffee, juice, and Teaneck Bagels to start your day. Later that evening from 6 to 10, there's a full dinner buffet and open bar at Napoli Restaurant in Fort Lee with music by our own DJ Chalice. I'm going to get the proper pronunciation of that in a couple of weeks, probably sooner than that. There's more information, including discounted hotel information and how to pay for all this fun. Check the Invite Me link in the description for full details, or find the THS group on the Facebook. That's how I got it. Maybe it's on other social media apps, but I'm old, hence the 30-year anniversary. So you'll have to ask somebody else. As a former winner of the William E. Brown, this prestigious and random award, I'm here to ask someone else random questions, and after your answers, you may receive the same accolades as I did. So, Dan, are you ready?
Oh, I'm totally ready.
All right. Question one. Do you still think or say you're from New Jersey?
It's a funny question. I have always said that, yes. I only just moved back to New Jersey. So the 30-year number has been a fun one. I left after high school 30 years ago, went to the Midwest for college, stayed in the Midwest after college, lived in the Pacific Northwest for the last 10 years, and then 1 month ago moved here. But I always said I was from New Jersey. I usually
Okay.
like a New Jersey right outside New York type of answer, but yes, always
Okay.
said
But it was
I'm
Jersey.
from
So
here again.
even what?
So I'm from here again now.
Okay. Well, being from there kind of answers its own question. So, what was your favorite mall when you were growing up?
It's probably Garden State Plaza growing up. That would be the one.
Okay. When was the last time, this is a follow-up question to that one, not one of the official questionnaire questions, but when was the last time you were at a mall?
We actually went to a movie at the mall last weekend.
Was it an actual living mall, or was it one of those malls that has the movie theater, but then it's pretty much half empty stores and such like that?
No, it's that one's still living. There's still a handful of the ones over here in that Paramus Hackensack area that are like regular malls, like you remember, more
Good
or
to know
less.
commerce is still surviving in northern New Jersey. All right, question three. Have you ever used advanced math like pre-calculus or trigonometry or anything like that since high school?
The I would say yes. I got my MBA at the University of Chicago and did like statistics, and some of the economics classes were essentially advanced math. So I would say yeah.
But as someone who took advanced math and everything like that and wasn't paying attention for most of it, was it really functional? I mean, was it not something that you could have logicked out, or was it like you actually put in like a trigonometry formula and were able to therefore generate relative information?
I mean, that's probably going too far. It helps it helps with some of the statistic stuff, which does help with some of that like economic analysis stuff. Now, do I do that for a living? No, but it helped when I had to go back to school, which was a good solid let's see, like 10 years, well, something like 10, 15 years after I graduated.
After high school and everything like that. So still able to use, yeah, I just advanced math is a whole separate thing. Question four. What do you think of drivers from other states?
Well, I have not been to a place where there's good drivers. Let's put it that way. I When I moved here, I actually drove across the country from Seattle to New Jersey, and there are
Hmm.
only two places in that drive west to east where like there was actually aggressive driving happening, and that was when I was going through Chicago, and then it's when I got here. So if you take that for what it's worth.
The rest of it was just so, as someone who's done a cross country trip, which did when you were coming from the Pacific Northwest, did you come down or did you go up through Montana and Idaho?
We did the through Montana and Idaho. We didn't come down until like the end of South Dakota, where we got into Nebraska. So I went down to Omaha, then Omaha to Chicago.
Did you do Mount Rushmore?
We did the Iron Mountain Road, which is like a drive that lets you see Mount Rushmore as you're driving through it, but we didn't stop because I was driving with my oldest son and my dog, and the dog was more of the issue. Like you can't really take the dog into all the buildings and whatnot. So we saw it, but we didn't go like right into the main park or anything.
All right. Well, I mean, it literally is just that though. If
Yeah,
you
pretty much
drove
it.
past it, you saw it, and it's just like, hey, all right, that's an about. Okay. Question 5. Do you still have or wear any of the clothing that you wore while you were in high school?
No, actually, here's another little funny moving backstory. I
Hmm.
went to the DMV to get my New Jersey license, and they found me still in the system from the last time I had my license here, which was from 1998. And what you have to actually like fill out one of the forms with the info that you had on there from like the last time you had a license. And
Really?
my weight was I'm about 50 pounds heavier than I was in high school. I'm not particularly heavy right now. I was really skinny in high school. So no,
No, none of the clothing. Oh,
not
all
a
right.
single,
Question 6. Do you remember the black door and the white door?
of course.
I'm sorry, I just do love that all of us are just like, so what do you remember of those doors? Or the
I have to go to
side
your
question.
house, in fact, and just randomly, like some guy, they were messing with the guy in front of me, and then they said, "Oh, you too," and then one guy punched me in the face.
For going through the black door?
Yeah, just being a white kid, a little skinny freshman white kid going to the black door. So, so yes, I remember it distinctly.
Well, that puts a bad stink on it then.
I
Um,
mean,
well, I guess there
it was
is.
mostly funny because like I wasn't hurt. It was more just like, what the hell? But indelible.
Okay. Let's see. One, two, three, four, five, six. We are up to question 7. Who did you have a crush on that never knew? Obviously, up until this questionnaire here. So we were talking 30, it could have been 30, 35 years ago, if you can remember.
I can't. That never knew. I mean, like I wasn't. No, I mean, I don't think I harbored a lot of crushes. I mean, there were plenty of the girls that went there that were attractive and everything else, but there was never like a crush. And then the time that I did, I think they knew it. So I don't think there was a secret there.
I was gonna say there's a it's that never knew is the part that kind of holds on to. It's the sort of youthful, bashful, I don't have the courage to come up and say it, but obviously you did, or they just obviously knew.
Or we talked about it like late, like at some point later. So like as of now,
As of now, they know.
yeah, I think so.
Okay.
But they did at some point. Maybe I mean, again, not a thing that I talk about all the time, all the time with people. So
Well, all right. So question 8, since we've graduated, how far have you physically traveled from Teaneck High School? Like Teaneck High School being the load marker location, how far have you traveled, physically traveled from that point?
like the furthest I've been from there.
Hmm.
Um, I have to look at the map of exactly which is further. I have
Hmm.
been to Hong Kong
Oh,
and I've been to India 3 different times. The longest flight I ever took was from Newark to New Delhi, so it's probably that.
New Delhi. So it's a whole different world over there.
Very much so. One of the more like remarkable things about going to a country like that, the way that poverty is visible and the difference in what poverty means there versus here. Like
Hmm.
that's like I think that's the most shocking part of it. They're just, you don't see like, little kids who look hungry, like coming up and begging you on the street, in Atlanta or New York or Chicago, or wherever else I've lived in the US. But
Yeah.
like that's not uncommon in Indian cities and like other countries like that. So that takes that's like a shock to the system.
Interesting. Three, six, seven, eight. Question number nine. What do you remember the science classrooms looking like?
Oh, geez. I remember there was one. I think about the guy every so often because we had there was a Mr. It was what was his name? I think his name was O'Shea, and he was the
Hmm.
one that knew Peter Benchley, the guy who wrote Jaws. And
Okay.
so he talked about Jaws every so often. I took the marine biology class,
Hmm.
and I feel like there was like the tables were like lab tables, like there was stuff on there that you could have been using for labs, even if we didn't actually use it for labs. So like they were like thicker slab material. You could sit like multiple people at it. That's what I remember. Whether that's true, and that's actually an accurate memory.
Well, the follow-up question is you've mentioned that you have children. Have you are they old enough that you've gone in and seen their science classrooms?
No, they just started middle school, like this week. So I have not
Mm.
been in there to see what those rooms look like. They're going to a school that's as old as Teaneck High School. So whatever is in there probably is pretty similar to what was in our schools.
Well,
But I haven't
you
seen it
were
yet.
were you at Benjamin Franklin Middle or were you at Thomas Jefferson? You'd be at Thomas Jefferson Middle.
I was Thomas Jefferson, yeah.
The science rooms in there look just like the science rooms at THS, if I
Right, right.
as my memory serves. So those science rooms are the same. I bring that up and this will be in all of them, is because I was shocked when I went to my high schooler kids curriculum night. I hadn't gone to a curriculum night and went in and looked and I'm like, these are the exact same science desks. They look exactly the same.
I
I
love
just
it.
wasn't expecting that. Um,
Yeah.
and finally, number 10, what is the most distinct memory that you have of your life before graduation?
So before I graduated high school,
Before you graduated high school, what's I mean, if you obviously, there's certainly a ton of different memories, but what's the one sort of the most distinct one, the one that stands out, the one that like if I had to think about, this is the one thing I think about when I think about time before high school, before I left high school.
um, I'll say this one because it fit like my perception of myself then, which was like kind of like I felt like I had like I felt like I wasn't lucky. And this was the day of our senior prom was
Hmm.
also my grandmother's funeral. So like
Wow.
earlier in the day, I attended my grandmother's funeral, and then went to like the cemetery and did the whole thing, and then everyone's at my house all sad and whatnot, and then oh, I got to get my tux on and go to the prom, and so like that, like very much of like those two things happening on the same day is always a
Right.
distinct memory for me, and like again, my perception of myself then was I wasn't lucky. I think that's also a teenager who has no particular perspective on life. So I mean, I don't think I was really unlucky in the grand scheme of things, but as it fit how I thought of myself then, like that was like the perfect encapsulation. Like I can't just have the prom; I got to have something else going on too.
No, it is 30 years ago, so you're clearly a different person, or one would hope. And thank you for completing this questionnaire. You will win the same prestigious and random award that I did, which is the accolades that I'm giving you now. So thank you very
Great,
much. And as always on the Terminal Podcast, we close with a trivia question. Where's your specific trivia question? Here we go. As a well-known fan of the New York Jets, you had only suffered through roughly half of the franchise existence when the 1994 season started with the beginning of our senior year. That was at the time the Jets' 35th season, and It was their 25th in the NFL, math and numbers and such, if you'd like to look it up. But in that 25th season in the NFL, the 1994 season, under Pete Carroll, the Jets were 6-5 on November 27th, 1994, with the Miami Dolphins coming to the Meadowlands. Am I ringing any memories from this?
Oh yeah, yeah, yes.
I'm sorry. And the top of the AFC East was on the line. According to Wikipedia, the Jets led 24-6 in the third quarter before Dan Marino led a furious comeback, capped by the fake spike touchdown pass to Mark Ingram for the Dolphins' 28-24 win. Following a Week 12 win at the Minnesota Vikings, which actually was the week prior to Miami, the Jets would lose the number I'm looking for. How many of their next 37 games?
Ooh,
So the number
okay.
I'm looking for is how many of those 37 games would the Jets lose going forward?
All right. So you said they were 6-5 when
They
they
were
at
six,
the fake spike game.
6-5, lose the spike game.
They were 6-6. They lost the next four. They only won 3 games the next 2 years. So it would have been, yeah, three.
So how many games did they lose? I think
Oh,
you're thinking
lose.
how
So
many games they
they
won.
lost 34.
They, okay, so the number is 34. Thanks for listening to the latest uh, W.E. Brown questionnaire. Once again, this is a promotional tool for the THS Class of 1995 30-year reunion on October 8th. Events include a return to the Castle on the Hill, discounted hotel rooms, a full dinner buffet, an open bar, along with fellow highwayman DJ Chalice on the Wheels of Steel. Check out the Invite Me link in the description for full details, and I'll be back soon enough with hopefully something better to put down. Dan, thank you very much. Take it easy down your life's highway and have a good evening.